At 38, one of the most famous doctors in Europe started seeing visions and hearing voices in his own head. In the next 11 minutes, I'm going to show you what he found down there, the 3 moves he used to survive it, and a test you can run tonight on the one person who drives you crazy. Because this doctor thought he was going insane. He was not. He had just met the part of himself he had spent his whole life hiding. His name was Carl Jung, and before this, he had everything. He was the golden boy of psychology, the chosen heir of the most famous mind doctor alive, Sigmund Freud. Then the two of them broke apart in a bitter fight, and Carl Jung fell into the dark. So pick your person now, the one who gets under your skin, the co-worker, the in-law, the loud guy online, the one whose face makes your jaw tighten before they even speak. Hold that person in your mind while you watch this, because by the end, you're going to understand something about yourself that they have been trying to tell you for years. Here is what happened to Carl Jung after the split. He started writing down his visions in a private journal. He bound it in red leather. He filled it with strange paintings and conversations with figures who lived inside his own mind. He worked on that red book for 16 years. And here's the part that should stop you. He never showed it to the public. He hid it in a safe. It stayed locked away until 2009, almost 50 years after he died. For a while, he could barely function. His hands shook. He built tiny villages out of stone by the edge of a lake, with his own hands, just to stay steady. He let the figures in his mind speak, and he wrote down every word. One of them was an old man with wings who taught him things he swore he did not already know. Most people would call all of that madness. Carl Jung called it the most honest work he ever did. Why hide it? Because in that book, Carl Jung was doing the most dangerous thing a person can do. He was looking straight at the parts of himself that he hated. The cruelty, the selfishness, the hunger for power, all the things he had buried to become a respectable doctor. Stay with me, because in 3 minutes, I'm going to show you how to look at yours without falling apart. He gave those buried parts a name. He called it the shadow. Your shadow is everything about you that you decided was not allowed. As a kid, you learned that some things got you love and some things got you punished. So you split. You kept the parts that got you praise. And you shoved the rest into a bag and dragged it behind you, out of sight. The anger, the neediness, the selfishness, the bigness. You did not delete those parts. You just stopped looking at them. Now here is the problem, and it is the whole reason you clicked on this. The stuff in that bag does not stay quiet. It leaks. It runs your life from a place you cannot see. Carl Jung said it plainly. When you refuse to look at what is inside you, it shows up on the outside, and you call it fate. The same fights, the same bad bosses, the same kind of person who keeps hurting you. That is not bad luck. That is your shadow running the show from the dark. Now let me say the thing you are feeling at this hour. You think you're basically a good person who just keeps meeting difficult people. I want to gently take that off you. Not because you are bad, but because the good person story is exactly the wall that keeps your shadow in the dark. The most dangerous people on earth are not the ones who know their dark side. They are the ones who are certain they do not have one. Here is the part that surprised even me. The thing you hate most in other people is almost always a part of yourself you refuse to see. Carl Jung found that we take the contents of that buried bag and we throw them onto other people. He called it projection. The trait that makes you furious in someone else is usually the same trait you have locked in your own basement. The loud man you cannot stand. Maybe you were never allowed to take up space. His freedom rubs against your cage. And the people you have been scrolling past at this hour, the ones who look so calm and so put together, hear this. They have a bag too. The shinier the front a person shows the world, the heavier the bag they are dragging behind them in the dark. There are no exceptions. The saint and the monster are made of the same buried stuff. The only difference is who has looked inside the bag. I know it is late. I know you have replayed an argument tonight, hearing all the things you should have said. That loop is not weakness. It is a knock on the door. Something in you, is asking to be let back in. Most people spend their whole lives keeping that door shut. Tonight, we're going to open it a crack. I'm going to call it the shadow. There are 3 moves. Move 1. Catch the trigger. Go back to the person you picked at the start, the one who gets under your skin. Instead of asking what is wrong with them, ask a stranger question. What exactly are they doing that bothers me so much? Be specific. Not they are annoying. They brag. They take up the whole room. They never say sorry. Name the exact trait. Because here is the trick. A small flaw in someone else gets a small reaction. But when something makes you furious, way past what it deserves, that is the tell. That heat is not about them. That heat is your own buried trait, screaming because someone else gets to do the thing you never let yourself do. The size of your anger is a map. It points straight down what you buried. And before you tell yourself this is too simple, try it once. The next time someone makes your blood boil, do not ask why they're like that. Ask why it hit you so hard. The answer is the beginning of the whole thing. Write this on your wall. What you cannot stand in them is a letter addressed to you. Catch the trigger. Move 2. Name the shadow. Once you catch the trait, you have to do the hard part. You have to admit you have it too. Not all of it. Maybe just a seed of it. The braggart shows you your own hidden wish to be seen. The selfish one shows you the needs you never let yourself have. The angry one shows you the anger you swallowed for 30 years. This is the move that surprised me most. You do not fix the shadow by becoming more positive. Carl Jung said it cold. You do not become whole by imagining yourself full of light. You become whole by making the darkness conscious. That means looking right at the ugly thing and saying, yes, that is in me too. Not acting on it. Just stopping the lie that it is not there. And here's what no one tells you about that moment. It does not make you worse. It makes you safer. The anger you admit is an anger you can finally steer. It is the anger you deny that explodes on the people you love. The part you own cannot own you. Write this one down too. You do not heal the dark by pretending it is light. Name the shadow. Move 3. And this is the one nobody expects. You would think the goal is to get rid of the dark stuff. To finally kill the anger, the selfishness, the pride. Carl Jung said the opposite. He said the shadow is not just your trash. It is also your buried treasure. The parts you hid were not all bad. A lot of them were your power. You buried your anger, and you lost your boundaries. You buried your selfishness, and you lost the ability to take care of yourself. You buried your bigness, and you have been playing small ever since. So the third move is to take it back. Reach into the bag and pull out the gold. Your job is not to become a saint with no dark side. Your job is to become whole. The anger you exiled comes back as the strength to say no. The pride you hid comes back as real confidence. The selfishness you buried comes back as the spine to protect your own time. You're not adopting a flaw. You are recovering a power you abandoned when you were too young to know better. Think of the quietest person you know, the one who never causes trouble and never says no. Carl Jung would tell you that person is not safe. They're sitting on a mountain of buried fire, and one day it comes out sideways at the worst possible time, at the people who least deserve it. Now think of the people you actually trust. They are not the ones with no dark side. They're the ones who know exactly what they are capable of and choose every single day not to do it. That is what a whole person looks like. Not clean. Awake. This is the move that turns a wound into a tool. The goal was never to be a nicer, smaller, more agreeable version of yourself. The goal is to be the whole thing. All of you, with the lights finally on. A whole person who has met their own dark and is no longer afraid of it. Write this last one down. Your gold is buried in the part of you that you hate. Take back the gold. So that is the whole thing. Move 1, catch the trigger. Move 2, name the shadow. Move 3, take back the gold. You do not become whole by imagining the light. You become whole by making the darkness conscious. The shadow. Here is what I want you to do tonight in the next 10 minutes before you close this app. Take the person you picked at the start. Write 3 lines on a piece of paper. Line 1, the exact trait that makes your blood boil about them. The real word. Line 2, where you do that same thing, even a little, even in secret. Be honest. No one is reading this. Line 3, what that trait would look like if you used it on purpose in the light. Then put that paper where you will see it in the morning. That is it. 3 lines. You are not fixing your whole self tonight. You are opening a door you have kept shut for years. And here is the deeper version, if this one reached you. Block 1 quiet hour this weekend. Phone in another room. List the 5 people who get under your skin the most. Write the trait each one carries. Then look for the thread, because there's almost always a thread. That thread is the shape of your shadow. And underneath it, every time, is a piece of your own power waiting for you to come back and pick it up. If this video found you tonight, leave the channel a quiet subscribe. We are growing on word of mouth, one person at a time, mostly people awake at hours like this. Tomorrow I want to tell you about the philosopher they called dangerous. He was sick, alone, and in pain almost every day of his life. And out of all that suffering, he built 2 words for how to meet your fate without flinching. His name is Friedrich Nietzsche, and the idea is a more fatty. But that is tomorrow. Tonight, 3 lines on 1 piece of paper. Catch the trigger. Name the shadow. Take back the gold. You do not become whole by imagining the light. You become whole by making the darkness conscious. Sharper thinking. One model at a time.